Hello everyone, I am Trupti Pandya from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. So I start with my new subject, Water Resource Engineering and Hydrology, and this is video 1 of module 1, which is Hydrological Parameters. So in this video, I will start with the subject syllabus for my third year students, right? So before starting this module, let's briefly check out the syllabus. So this subject syllabus include total 5 modules. First is hydrological parameters. This include all about rainfall, precipitation, its types, its forms, its measurement and analysis of precipitation, means rainfall, right? Then other part of this module is evaporation, evapotranspiration and infiltration, in which the discussion about the factors affecting these parameters, its measure and how to find out these parameters, and few equations are there to find out these hydrological parameters. Second module include runoff, means watershed characteristics and types of runoff, and hydrological analysis, which include hydrograph, unit hydrograph and S hydrograph. Third module, first part is groundwater hydrology, means occurrence, distribution of groundwater and well losses. Its second part include dams and reservoir, which types of dam, types of reservoirs and other information about dams and reservoirs. Next module is flood occurrence and flood protection measures are there. Then its second part include the terminology and hydrological analysis of flood. Third part of same module is hydel power. It is very small part of which it describe about the hydroelectric power plant types and its component. And the last module having first part is drought management and water harvesting, types of drought and measurement of drought and techniques of water harvesting. And its second part is water resource planning and management. So different schemes of water resource planning and environmental aspects in water resources planning, right? These are few experiment. So laboratory point of view, I think there are one first experiment is there to find out the infiltration rate with the help of instrument. Other rainfall measurement is also a part of instrumental work, but other experiment are analytical one, means find out the flood analysis or flood value with the help of hydrograph, flood routing, well capacity and calculate the power of hydropower plant. So these are the few experiment in this subject. So let's start with first module, which is hydrological parameter, and this module start with the definition of hydrology, of course, right? So what is hydrology? It is occurrence, circulation and distribution of water upon, over and beneath the earth's surface. So hydrology is all about the water cycle, right? Hydrological cycle is nothing but the water cycle. So how water comes to the earth and go back to the atmosphere, right? This is in simple word hydrology. Then what is engineering hydrology? Engineering hydrology include those segments of the field related to planning, design and operation of engineering projects for the control and use of water. So it is application to use, plan and operate the water. So application of hydrology in civil engineering, it is the knowledge of hydrology is used, or it is useful for irrigation schemes, dams and hydroelectric power project, and water supply project. Which are the scope of hydrology? The maximum probable flood may occur at the given site and its frequency. This is required for safe design of dam, culvert, reservoir. So it is used for flood estimation, and that analysis is used for designing of hydrological structures. Similarly, to find out the quantity, frequency of water, or say rainfall, and again it is useful for water supply project, for water power, river navigation, and design of dam. Again, the groundwater knowledge is very useful. The formation of soil, recharge facility of stream, reservoir, for cropping patterns are required. And another scope is the maximum intensity of storm, or we can say rainfall, its frequency, for designing of drainage project. So these are the scopes and applications of hydrological study, or we can say hydrology subject, for civil engineering students. So now this chapter start with very simple term, hydrologic cycle, which is known to all, right? So what is hydrological cycle? It is nothing but the circulation of water from earth's surface to atmosphere, right? It is in simple statement we can define. Hydrological cycle is circulation of water from atmosphere to earth, earth to atmosphere. But let's see this hydrological cycle in hydrology subject terms, right? So in this we are using the hydrological parameters to define hydrologic cycle. So let's start with the hydrological cycle. It is journey of water from ocean to atmosphere and back to the earth, and ultimately to the ocean through the process of, so the circulation of water through the process of evaporation, precipitation, percolation, runoff, and return to the ocean is called hydrologic cycle. So let's see this figure. It is very simple one. In the presence of sun rays or sunlight, the water get evaporate from the earth surface water bodies, right? And that evaporated water goes to the atmosphere, clouds are formed, then condensation is occur, and then due to pressure variation, temperature variation, the rainfall occurs, right? So second part is rainfall. That rainfall water may infiltrate into the ground. Some part of water may flow on earth's surface as a runoff, and ultimately the infiltrate and runoff water meet or flow to the water bodies. Again, due to evaporation and transpiration, water circulate from earth's surface to atmosphere and come back to the earth's surface, right? So in hydrological cycle, that one sentence complete the hydrological cycle. But now what is important? The components. As a part of hydrology subject, these components are very important in terms of definition and further in terms of further study about these components. So Which are the components? First is the precipitation. Precipitation is a new word for you in hydrology. So precipitation is a, I can say it is engineering word of runoff. Sorry, of rainfall. So precipitation is nothing but rainfall. So the rainfall include the rain, snow and other form of water falling from atmosphere to land and ocean. Second term is evaporation. It is physical process by which the water is vaporized into atmosphere from free water surface and land areas. Transpiration. Water from the soil is absorbed by the plant's root and eventually discharged into the atmosphere through little pores in the leaves called stomata. And evapotranspiration is the combined process by which water is transferred to the atmosphere from open water surface and vegetation cover. So, evaporation, transpiration are physical process in which water vaporized from earth surfaces and enter in atmosphere. Another term is infiltration. So as I had already said that it is movement of water from the land surface to the upper layer of the soil or below the ground surface. Percolation, again it is the movement of water through the subsurface down to the water table. Overland flow, portion of runoff that travel over the surface of the ground to reach the stream channel. In surface runoff, it includes all overland flow as well as precipitation falling directly onto stream channels. So these are the components of hydrological cycle which complete the topic hydrological cycle. So our next topic is again related to precipitation, means rainfall, which is forms of rainfalls. So in which form water fall on earth's surface? So as all we know, it is fall in form of rain and snow, but the size of that drops and the size of the snow fall bifurcate the forms of precipitation. The first form is drizzle. Drizzle is the very minute drop of water, rainfall, and the fine drop size is 0.5 mm. Rain, as we know, it is condensed water vapor and the drop size is greater than 0.5 mm and maximum 6 mm. Glaze is now freezing of drizzle or rain when they come in contact with the cold object. Sleet is a frozen raindrop while falling through air at sub-freezing temperature. And snow is ice crystals resulting from sublimation. Right? So this glaze, sleet, snow are part of freeze rainfall, or we can say snow. Hail, small lumps of ice size greater than 5 mm in diameter formed by alternate freezing and melting when they are carried up and down in the highly turbulent air current. Dew, as we know, it is moist condensed form of atmosphere in small drops upon cool surface. Frost, a feathery deposit of ice formed on the ground or on the surface of the exposed object by dew. Fog is a thin cloud of varying size formed at the surface of the earth by condensation of atmospheric vapor. And mist is a thin fog. Right, so these are the forms of precipitation. next topic is types of precipitation, right? So first is the forms, in which form rain falls, and types, by which process the rain falls, precipitation occur. So the types and form you have to understand the difference between these two words, types of precipitation and forms of precipitation, right? So types, uh, basically there are three types of precipitation, and first one is convectional precipitation. It results from the heating of the earth's surface. Due to this, the warm air rises rapidly into the atmosphere. As the air rises, it cools. Water vapor in the air condensed into cloud and precipitate. So, just you have to remember the process. What happened in convectional precipitation? So what happened? It is heating of Earth's surface. See this figure. Due to heating up, due to have high temperature, the Earth's surface get heat. So the hot air lift up, right? And that hot air lifted up into the atmosphere, it get cooled down over there. Then clouds are formed due to condensation of air, and then at some atmospheric condition it get precipitate, comes back into atmosphere. So just what is convectional precipitation? It is just rises of warm air, right? Second is orographic precipitation. It results when warm moist air moving across the ocean is forced to rise by large mountain. This is the process of orographic precipitation, that the air lifted by or due to large mountains. As the air rises, it cools. As air cools, the water vapor in the air condensed and water droplets form. Precipitation occurs on the windward side of the mountain. The air is now dry and rises over top of the mountain. As the air moves back down to the mountain, it collects moisture from the ground via evaporation. So, this orographic precipitation happen in mountainous region where the warm air lifted through air and it is raised up due to mountain, and on that side only, the windward side, the condensation happen and rainfall occurs on windward side. Next is cyclonic precipitation. Cyclonic precipitation is caused by lifting of an air mass because of pressure difference. So this is the method, that this precipitation happen due to pressure difference. If low pressure occur at an area, air will flow horizontally from the surrounding area, causing the air at the low pressure area to lift. Again, in detail, this cyclonic precipitation is divided into two parts: frontal, non-frontal. Let's see. Frontal. When two air masses, because of contrasting densities and temperature, clash with each other, precipitation and condensation occur in the surface of contact. The surface of contact is called a front or frontal surface, and the precipitation is called frontal precipitation. See, when cold air mass drives out a warm air mass, it is called cold front. And if warm air mass replaces the retreating cold air mass, it is called a warm front. So, in cyclonic precipitation, what happened? The warm the warm air is lifted by the cold air, right? So this is frontal precipitation. Just you have to remember the figure. On the other hand, if both air masses are drawn simultaneously towards a low pressure area, the front developed is stationary and is called a stationary front. Both air masses are drawn simultaneously, right? This is stationary front. Non-frontal precipitation. In the case of non-frontal precipitation, the moist warm air mass is stationary and the moving cold air mass meets it. Thus, due to the lightness of the warm air mass, there is a passive ascent of warm air over cold air, owing to this active undercutting. When this lift warm air cool down at higher altitude, precipitation occur. Right. So this is the end of my first session of module 1, which is hydrological parameter, in which we just see 3 points. First is hydrological cycle, in which you have to remember the components of hydrological cycle. Second is the form of precipitation, and third is types of precipitation, right? So my next part is measurement of rainfall.